Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
I want to turn you on to a wonderful children's book, and this is for parents, also educators. Let's say you're connected with a library. Good stuff here for our generation, younger generation. It's called Jack Sprout, and I've been talking with the author in the last couple of weeks about the book, the process. This is not something that he just conjured up yesterday. Decades in the making, where this all began, and has also led to a video game and also a music CD. And with us again is the author, Jack Wayne Shoop, is our professional of the year. Hey, Jack, how you doing?
Hey, thanks. Thanks a lot, Steve, for having me. Always good to talk to you.
Got to say congratulations to you and also Jack Sprout, because I hear that things are happening there in the Hollywood, California area. Billboard going on. That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah, I've got a 1 month run on a digital billboard on 9040 West Sunset Boulevard in Hollywood, West Hollywood. It's between the Whiskey A Go Go and entrance to Beverly Hills. So I'm hoping I can get some movers and shakers in that area that notice Jack Sprout and notice that he's a unique character, a well-loved character, and someone that can promote nature, which I think is always a good idea. So
Yeah.
we'll see how that goes.
Oh,
My
you know what?
my email is in the billboard, so we'll see.
Beautiful. And we've talked about before, you're very much open to hearing ideas, potentially merchandising with Jack Sprout, the character, and so much more. But it all begins with the book, which is fantastic because it's got lessons about life, lessons about nature, and unlike a lot of the books that are out there for kids and a younger audience. So we're going chapter by chapter here. Chapter 6 today. That's what we're looking at.
Yeah, we're talking chapter 6, and just to continue on what you're saying, every project, every advertising project, movie story, whatever, begins with a story, and I think this is a good story. So
Agreed.
it could go anywhere. It could
Yeah,
go
it's a
anywhere.
great point you bring up. Everything has a story. We have a story. It could be your car. Car has a story too when you think about it, and so does Jack Sprout. And we're learning
Yeah,
his story.
yeah, oh, definitely.
So where we
So
go
yeah,
into this
yeah.
chapter, what's this one about?
Well, this I think this is a good example of my storytelling. I like to tell a story that's fun and a kind of adventurous. Nobody dies, but I mean, it's not that kind of exciting. But it's kind of adventurous. It's kind of a journey through nature, through the woods, through the meadow. And I think it's called natural learning or whatever. But yeah, as you walk along through life, you run into something where you learn something. You weren't planning on it. You didn't know what was going to happen. But through experiences, we learn. And I think this is a good example of some knowledge that Jack picks up just by going about his daily routines. So if when you're ready, I'll go ahead and start reading here.
Let's dig on in.
Okay, in the last chapter, we met Barley and Iris Miller that were at their flour mill, and Barley grinds seeds in his millstone for flour. And Barley said that he'd have fresh seeds for me when it was time for me to plant. So I was getting closer to becoming a farmer. I remembered Uncle Dale telling me that early worm would help me learn about soil. He said Early's farm was just off Old Pal Road, up by the headwaters of Beaver Creek. That'd be a long walk from my place, so I'd have to get an early start. The sun was just coming up over the northeast forest the morning I set out to find Early Worm's farm. I went to Old Pal Road, turned left, and headed north. I was thinking about the first time I had walked down this road to find my farmland. It wasn't that long ago that I had left the sunflower field, but it seemed like forever. I had learned so much from my neighbors about starting my new life. I was finding out that farming is a lot more than just planting seeds. I came to Farmer Smith's place and saw him working in a sunflower field. I waved, and he waved back, but he didn't stop working. He was busy, and it was already starting to get hot. I never did look like any of my friends growing up. It turns out I have a special reason to be alive. and a very important job to do in Beaver Creek Meadow. I wanted to stay and daydream about my good old days, but I had to keep moving. I came to Grandma Elderberry's Orchard Lane and walked up to her treehouse. "Well, Jack Sprout, how's the farming come along?" she asked. "I haven't even planted any seeds yet," I answered. "I didn't know there was so much to do before I could get started. This is all new to me. I hope I can remember everything I'm being told." "Don't you worry," she said. "Anybody who grew from a sunflower seed into a farmer will know what to do. We all have faith in you. Where are you going so early in the morning anyway?" "I'm headed to Early Worm's farm. Uncle Dill told me to talk to him about the soil on my farm." "Oh, that's right. You'll have to have your soil checked by Early. He's our soil expert around here. Early Worm and all of his workers keep our fields, gardens, and even the hillsides and meadow healthy. He must have 1 million workers." "A million?" I said. "Sound like you're pulling my leg, Grandma Elderberry." "Oh, you can believe me on that. Say you'd better get going. He works early in the day. He's the early worm." So not much farther up the road, I saw the sign I was looking for: Early Worm, Soil Builder. I caught my breath, followed the arrow pointing down the narrow dirt lane. I saw a wagon, some shovels, buckets, a pile of leaves, a pile of soil, and piles of other stuff. Some piles didn't smell very good. I didn't see anyone working, though. Grandma Elderberry said Early Worm worked early in the morning, but it sure didn't look like it to me. Maybe he took the day off and went fishing. Little humor there. I shouted, "Hey, Early Worm, anybody here?" There was no answer, so I yelled as loud as I could. Still no answer. Where is everybody, I wondered. Well, I had gotten up early in the morning and walked a long way. I was going to get some soil for my farm one way or the other. I'd just fill up one of the wagons and head on down the road. I'd bring the wagon back and have my talk with Early Worm some other day. I went over by the wagon and grabbed a shovel, and that turned out to be a bad idea. A very, very bad idea. I dug a shovelful of rich, moist soil and threw it in the wagon. This soil was great, way better than soil on my farm. I dug another shovelful and heard the loudest, most terrifying scream I'd ever heard. The sound scared me so much that I stumbled back, dropped the shovel, and fell down. I looked up, and over by the hole I was digging was a big, bulky worm, and he was mad. I mean, really, really mad. I looked around, and there were hundreds, maybe thousands of worms poking their head above the ground, staring at me. I was scared and way outnumbered. I lay there for a moment to see if they were going to chase me or not. When they didn't come after me, I grabbed the shovel and went back to where I'd digging. "Hey, what are you yelling at?" I asked. "Why am I yelling at you?" "Why am I yelling?" screamed the worm. "You almost cut me in half with that shovel. That's why I'm yelling. What do you think you're doing anyway?" "Oh, no. I'm very sorry," I said. "I've never been to a worm farm before. I never wanted to hurt anyone. What's your name, Mr. Worm?" I, I'm Jack. "I know who you are," shouted the worm. "You're that new farmer in Beaver Creek Meadow. I'm Early Worm. Now put that shovel down. You're dangerous." Early was still mad, but not as much before. "What do you want anyway?" he demanded. Uncle Dale and Grandma Elderberry told me to come here and learn about soil and how it's made. "Well, if you don't know anything about soil, you're not going to be a very good farmer," said Early. Another life lesson there. "Go over by that shade tree and wait. I'll be over as soon as I can get everyone to calm down and back to work." Early got his workers calmed down, then crawled over to the shade tree and up on a twig. "I can't stay up here long," he said. "It's too hot. Too much sun and we'll dry up and die. We're only above ground at night or if it rains too much and our tunnels get flooded. I'm going to talk very fast. Are you a good listener, Jack Sprout?" "Just look at these ears," I said. "Yeah, I see him. Okay. Soil is alive like you and me. It needs fresh air, food, and water just like we do. My workers and I crawl around underground to make tunnels so fresh air and rainwater can flow through. We eat dead roots, sticks, leaves, food bits, old soil, and stuff like that. We digest it in our stomachs and cast out what's left. It's called worm casting, and it's good fertilizer for the soil. When you're ready for us, we'll come to your farm, make some tunnels, leave our worm castings. That's it. Okay, goodbye. Good luck. See you later. Then Early wiggled back to his hole and disappeared. I ran over to the hole and yelled down, "Hey, that's it? What do you mean soil's alive? How big are the tunnels? Where do you get all that stuff to eat?" "What did you say?" shouted Early from his hole. "I can't hear you." I reached for a hollow piece of straw, stuck it in the hole, and yelled down again. "Okay, I can hear you now," he said. "I've never talked through a straw before. You're kind of different, Jack Sprout." "Yeah, I've always been different. It's not easy being me, but it's a lot of fun. I'm one of a kind. Anyway, I have to know all this stuff because Beaver Creek Meadow is depending on me to be their new farmer." "Just look down this hole," said Early. I looked through the straw and saw tunnels going in every direction. I saw all the stuff that Early had talked about eating and even the worm casting. "Who are those other guys?" I asked. "Oh, they're beetles, soldier bugs, nematodes, and other critters down here. Sometimes they bring us food, but mostly they just use our tunnels. They don't help build them, though. I'm not sure what they're doing that they're good for. We all get along. They're good bugs. This is what your farm will look like when we're done." "What are all these piles up here for?" I asked. "All of our neighbors bring us food scraps, leaves, brush, and other stuff to eat. We jump in, eat it up, and leave our worm castings. In about 3 months, it all turns out to the best soil there is. Anyone who wants good soil to grow vegetables, flowers, or anything else can have it. It helps keep Beaver Creek Meadow clean and makes new soil too, so everyone's happy." "Well, that's about it, Jack Sprout. I have to get back to work. Come back when you've built your farm. Oh, and when you come back, take a shovel and pound it on the ground real hard 3 times. We'll know you're here and no one will get hurt." "Okay, I promise." "How will you get to my farm?" "During a full moon around midnight, we'll tunnel underground until we get to Beaver Creek Bridge. Then Whoopi and Stretch will drop buckets of water so we don't get splinters or dry out crossing the wooden bridge. Those long-necked shorebirds don't mind working at night and getting overtime. We only go out at night when it's cool. That's why they call us the night crawlers." "All right, it's a deal," I said. "I'll be back after I build my farm and ready for planting." "Okay," said Early. "I can't help you build your farmhouse or greenhouse, but I'll build your soil for you." So that's a soil lesson. Quick, short, and pretty detailed how Early makes his soil. But it's a lesson that you don't always hear in school or whatever, but it's good. It's a good thing to know. So that's the way that I teach the lesson in the book.
Jack, how do you give the characters life? For the rest of us, we take a look at, embarking on an endeavor of writing a book and giving a inanimate character some kind of personality. How do you find the inspiration? How do you do that?
Well, it's I just start out with the basics, like that point where it said, when you come back, take a shovel and pound it on the ground real hard 3 times.
Hmm.
I've had mothers tell me that their kids do that.
Ah, okay.
She
All
said,
right.
"Jack, next we read your book and we were out in the garden and my son was pounding the shovel on the ground 3 times so the worm would take off and not get cut in half." It's that's kind of way I do it. It's kind of reality. It's like what happens when things, for every, I learned when we grew up, every action is a reaction. So, um, I just I guess I look at it from their point of view. It's the easy way to look at it because horses, these animals, we've talked about this before. They can see, they can hear, they have a lot of the same experiences we do. So I just kind of put myself on their position. If I was a squirrel, how would I live in a tree? If I was a fox, where I'd hide at night, and I think that. But thanks for saying that because, yeah, I guess I just see it from their point of view.
And it also
Yeah.
sounds like you take pieces of real life situations, whether it was your upbringing, whether family, friends, things you hear, and like the patting the shovel on the ground 3 times. It all those pieces seem to come together when you write.
Yeah, it's when I started the book, I was kind of, depressed, frustrated, whatever. I thought, well, I'll write a story. And I just I just took one step at a time. Okay, I'm gonna go do this. I'm gonna go plant some seeds. What happens on my way to planting the seeds? What clothes
Mm.
I put on it, what's the weather like, and what's the soil like? Like I had greenhouses, okay, and I had 3 stages of the sunflower sprout. The seeds, half grown, full grown. So I'd go out in the morning and there would be a hole where I just planted the seeds. A rat had come up from underneath and knew that there were seeds there. And he ate a little bit of seeds and he took off and went back. But there was no seeds in the other plots. I mean, there was no holes in the other plots, right? So I figured that this little mouse or rat, when he saw the roots, he knew it was too late.
Ah,
You
okay.
know what I mean? So you look at it from their point of view, and then it helps you manage what you're doing.
There's a
But
lot of detail that goes into writing a book, especially like this. There's children's books with lots of illustrations, a little bit of text. Yours is the other way around,
yeah,
and photographs, actual real photographs
yeah,
with the text. Um, would you consider yourself very detail oriented?
yeah.
Yeah, it seems so with the
It's
observations.
hard to have a lot of friends that way. It's like I'm not really a small talk guy. I don't care about your uncle's toe. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? But I've been told a lot, okay, Jack, okay, yeah, that's enough. That's enough. I get too detailed and I get too into what I'm talking about. I'm too big picture. And a lot of people don't like that. I mean, I have friends, don't get me wrong, but it's hard to just jump in. You see that guy at the party, everybody's around him and he's telling a story and everybody's having a good time. I always want to be that guy, but my stories they're too deep. They're too detailed, like you say.
Well,
So I guess
I
good
guess
for one thing and good, not good for the other.
I guess a good thing and potentially challenging thing because it's a good thing for a book, But
Yeah.
and
No, it's
I
good.
have some friends like that too, and a lot of times when they're telling a story, we look at them and we say laser, laser, meaning get to the point.
Yeah.
When it comes to a book, all bets are off. I feel, if you can tell a story and a good one, the details are important, and you're getting to the details.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of details. I mean, what I just read, I skipped over a lot of because every time he goes somewhere, he sees things, on his way through the forest or down the road. And I notice, and as you read along, every sentence, something's going on. Every sentence. He stumbles, he falls, the leaf falls, he hears a bird, something that's going on every step. So it is very detailed. And like I said, there's like 50 life lessons in here, but I think it's a good way to learn. And I think I keep reading the attention spans are getting shorter and shorter
Hmm.
of the kids. So I think being more detailed might keep them more interested. I've had people tell me that the kids don't read books and they can't put this one down,
Wow.
you know. So it doesn't let you stop. It just keeps going and going and going. Everything's happening. So I think being detailed is probably helping me as far as this goes.
Well, maybe your book breaks the mold because so many books are, um, children's books, just illustrations and some copy. But after a while, it's like I, I feel that there's so many visual stimulating things out there for all of us, including kids, that it's almost like overload. Where There's actually a story here. Yes,
Yeah,
there's some column illustrations. You have photographs, which are real, which is super cool. Um,
yeah.
but there's a story. Kids, I don't think they're used to it, and it sounds like they embrace it.
Yeah, they do. And like picture books you're talking about, well, basically they talk about one thing, one how to grow a flower or the flower or one of the picture books you're talking about or cover one thing. This book covers everything about, like I said, there's 50 life lessons. It's about life. It's about trees. It's about forest. It's about friendship, helping, working. Everybody tells them, yeah, Jack will help you, but you have to do the work yourself. So I hope that's something that people can get instilled in them. That yeah, they need knowledge, but they have to do the work themselves. And I read more and more about like I read about something the teacher just quit today. She says these kids don't want to learn. They have no imagination.
Mm,
They don't need to write. They just go to the GPT, whatever it is, and
yep.
they get their information there. And it's kind of worrying about the imagination that the kids where they're going to get their imagination. They don't even need to think anymore. And matter of fact, it's a detriment for them to thinking because they have to just go to this. They all have what they call the iPad books in school now, and they just go to that to learn, and they don't even want to write a letter. They don't even want to write anything. So I hope I'm not too late, and trying to get the kids that to want to use their imagination. Matter of fact, I had one kid told me because what we're talking about pictures, they're not very many. There's a couple there's like three pictures per chapter, and
Hmm.
I had one girl tell me that she liked the fact that there weren't pictures, so she could imagine her own characters.
That's a great point.
Yeah,
Experts say that we should not take pictures. People grab their phone, everything, 10 pictures, blah, 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 of everything.
yeah,
Stop doing that. They say, stop. Your memory is what's going to retain it, not those pictures. You will
yeah.
remember, but now we're not relying on our memory because we have technology. Same to your point with Chat GPT AI, where people are just going to just churn out stuff that's artificially created based, and that's just based on what everything else is out there. It's a shame. Yeah, it's
Well,
nice going old school with this your book.
with addition to what you're saying is that you're ruining the moment when you're taking that picture
Yes,
for yourself.
100%. You're not in the moment. You're in the behind
Yeah,
the lens of the camera, if you will.
you're instead of sitting there enjoying. Matter of fact, I've been going on horse farm tours the last few days. The thoroughbred horse farms,
Hmm.
and it's just acres and acres and acres of green grass and wood fencing. I'm just taking it in. I'm just looking. I'm absorbing it.
Yeah, it's wonderful. You're actually
I'm,
using your mind and your memory. Imagine that.
yeah, I'm absorbing it instead of like wondering how many pictures I can take and run home and then look at the picture. I don't
Yeah.
need to do that because I experienced it. I'm enjoying it. I'm getting it because I don't. Maybe I have a different memory system because some people say, Jack, how do you remember that? How do you remember that? I don't,
Uh,
and
I'm
when
right
you,
there with you, Jack. I find myself not taking pictures, and then sometimes I say, well, I should have taken some pictures, and then the other part of me like, why? Don't do that. It's just it's getting in the
yeah,
way of the moment.
yeah.
Website is jacksprout.com. You can find the books there, the story, and so much more. Thank you for today for the insight, not just in the book, but also the behind the scenes as you create the story. And looking forward next time we get together, Jack.
All right. If anybody wants to get on me, just email me, jack@jacksprout.com.
Awesome. We'll be right back.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.